We're on the stream. Hello, everyone. We're live. This will be our Missed Apex podcast Las Vegas preview. But this isn't it. This is the bit where normally I mime silently as people in the live chat go, you're on mute, you turn it, and go, oh no. Or they go, oh, well, we can't hear the other guys, or you sound louder than everyone. That's on purpose. I'm the only voice that matters here. And Matt isn't on, so I'm the only person with a big grown-up microphone. But it is going to be our Las Vegas preview. I'm watching the rain come in, and I'm looking at those pictures. I can't help but feel everyone's being a bit sensational, but we'll definitely get into whether the weather is going to play a part and talk about the tyres and conditions that we'll be looking into. And, of course, cannot forget that this is going to be, part one of the championship decider. It's the triple thriller. The triple-headed Hydra. Chop one DNF off and another 3 will appear. All I'm really waiting for is confirmation that the live stream, our patrons in the Discord tend to kind of say, hey, we can see you, we can hear you. And then I go, hello. Oh, this is the bit where I say hello to it. Hello, Tom. Hello, Mike. Hello, Steve. Hi, guys. Come on in. The water's warm. And that's another reason why I do this waffle. Because it gives people time to come in and join us. But if you click in the description, there will be a little blue number. Click on that, and that gets you to the front of where the actual show starts. You'll see a spinny car. I'll go, you are listening to Missed Apex. And I'm the best one at doing that. I mean, Jono's here, and he can barely do that.
No, I can't.
Give it a go. Because you'll do it in Australian. You are listening to... You'll make it sound like a question. You are listening to
Missed Apex podcast, Ron Burgundy.
I thought you'd go, you are listening to Missed Apex. And then if we've got Cristina on, Cristina will apologise. You are listening to Missed Apex, sorry.
Always apologizing. There's nothing worse than when somebody does not apologize for something that doesn't need apologizing for.
Is that a true trope of Canadians that they apologise a lot?
It's not so much that it's a lot of sincere apologies. It's like you just automatically say sorry for the lightest inconvenience to somebody or for being in somebody's way. So on the sidewalk, you bump into someone and you automatically say sorry. It's like a lot more of those type of instances.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So like in the UK, if someone bumps into you, you will end up apologising. And say, oh, no, sorry. No, it is my fault. I am sorry. But also I get the feeling the Canadian sorry is a bit more sincere.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I remember I went on a trip to North America, it was 2013, and I was in Montreal and Toronto. Now, the politeness of those two cities can be polar opposites, and I'm not going to say which one's which, but at one point, I sat there going, why are Canadians so polite? Like, is this a thing? And this is when I was, how old was I? I was like 17 at the time going, I had no idea that Canadians and being polite was a thing. I just noticed it. Googled it, noticed that everybody says the same thing. So one of those two cities was extremely polite. The other was extremely rude. And I don't know what it is. It's like in Australia, we're taught to say sorry as less as possible.
Oh, really?
If you bump into someone in the street, Spanish, you basically, you're taught, don't say sorry, say, oh, you walk to the left and I'll walk to the right and let's continue our day. Whatever you can do to avoid saying the word sorry.
Yeah, I think there's a fake politeness in British as well. And I think some foreigners come over here and they'll get a compliment from a Brit and they won't realise that they're being insulted. So there's very common that like British people will go, well, you've tried your best. That's that kind of thing. Well, you've tried your best. I get the feeling that Australians are very confrontational, though, Jono. When I listen to your sports media, it's far more... Like, that wouldn't pass in Britain. If the Sky Sports people were like the Australian media, they'd be like, oh, this is a bit tasty.
Well, it's one of the fun parts because, look, I get to go to work in 2 hours' time, and the AFL media here, that's like Australian football for those, Gaelic football in Ireland, it's similar kind of rules to that anyway. And we notoriously go very hard at the players, and I kind of feel very bad for the players because it kind of shuts down their personalities a lot. We saw that happen to F1 drivers.
Yeah, Lewis,
going back to the sport we're covering.
Yeah, Lewis, for sure.
They all walk around like business cards. Lewis Hamilton was notorious, like after 2011, he kind of just shut off his personality a lot.
He did.
Chastised.
He did. And but do you get that in, you're all about the hockeys at the moment, aren't you, Cristina? Like, I feel like you're really into it to a degree where, like, you don't understand. I've got a friend who's really into Pokemon, and we play tennis together. We can hang out, and I can do everything I can do everything hanging out with him except listen to him talking about Pokemon. Like I do not know how to process talking to an adult about Pokemon. And I get that same kind of vibe with you when you go off on hockey. I'm like, I do not know what you're talking about.
The thing is, you don't need to know what I'm talking about. You just need to know that I'm right. My
Right.
team is awesome, and everyone else
Yes.
can lose.
I've heard.
And that's it. That's all you need to understand.
And you're also saying that the women's season is kicking off as well.
It is, yes. We have the PWHL that's kicking off for its third season. And the most exciting part, in my humblest of opinions, is that Vancouver now has their own team called the Golden Eyes. I have season tickets, so I get to sit in the exact same chair every single time. Very pumped. And we're the only team in the league who are the primary tenants of our arena. So we get to have our logo on center ice and all of the branding throughout the rest of the venue as well. So we actually have giant banners of these professional female athletes that are blown up and never have to be taken down. They're just always up there. And it makes me very happy.
You're really making me miss my friend that talks about Pokemon, if I'm honest. I'd rather talk about Oh, it's good. We've all got our passions outside of F1. But this is our most international crew ever. And I love this. I just, look, we cover all the time zones. Like, we span all the time zones because Cristina is 11 in the morning in Vancouver. I am 7 in the evening on a Wednesday in the UK. And Jono is in tomorrow. Jono is in the morning in tomorrow already.
What can I say?
Yeah.
You know, and we have all three moods covered too.
Yeah. Why is that?
If you think about it. Well, if I'm grumpy, Cristina is motivated and energetic, and you're sleepy. There's all three covered today.
You have underestimated how much I nap. I love. Okay, I do. I'm quite passionate about napping, so I do want to just talk about napping before we get.
I'm going to disagree with everything you're about to say.
Oh my
Go for
god!
it.
Right. So my routine has changed since being freelance because I can just choose. I can choose when to work, and I don't like doing too much of the day at once. So I hate there's too much day, isn't there? Like, you get up in the morning.
Oh no!
You get up at like 8 or 9, and there's so much day until you get to go to bed again. It lasts for ages, and so I hated going to the office. You go there, maybe you get home at 5 or 6 after traffic, and then you're exhausted. And the only good part of the day is when you're knackered. And then throughout the day, I would want a nap. So I've told this before, but I would set up my car so that I could nap in the boot with my legs sticking out into the main passenger compartment, and I'd drape like a sheet or a towel or whatever, so you couldn't see my legs sticking out. And then I would go and park in a space where I'd be least likely to be busted, like in the multi-story, like in the far corner. And they go, "You coming for lunch, Richie?" No, actually I'm going to the gym. But and then I'd sneak into the boot of my car, pull it down, and then that would be me. Like, I'd have a good 50-minute power nap. And if I could organise it so that no one needs to know where I am for a couple of hours, I would extend that to a couple of hours. But now I'm freelance. I work in basically the afternoon. I have an afternoon shift and an evening shift. I get up, see the kids off to school. Bye, guys. Straight back, nap. In there, morning nap, right? And then get up, do my work, and then I have a late afternoon siesta, and then I'm good for the kids coming home. I'm good for any evening activities we want, and then I'm often good to work until 11, 12, 1 o'clock. I have the dream schedule. It's amazing.
What a complete, absolute nonsense I just listened to for about 2-3 minutes. So how about Ferrari have proved that siestas should no longer be a thing? I said this on a podcast, what was it, last month? How about less siestas and more winning Ferrari? How about that? Imagine having 1 extra hour per day every day for a year, 365 more hours. Spanners, what could you do with 365 more hours in your life?
I do the same amount of work. And Maria in the chat is saying it's not being freelance, it's called being old. I'll accept that charge to a certain extent, except that I think Christina's about to back me up. And also, I will say, as a squaddy, as a soldier, 25, 26, in my prime, I was magnificent. You wouldn't know it, but I could run like the wind. I'd finish a day's armying. First thing I'd do, nap. Any opportunity, like you're in the field somewhere and you've got your backpack, lay down, nap. Back of a truck, nap. Squaddies nap. Squaddies are for winners. Sorry, napping is for winners. Christina, nap schedule now.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wake up early to deal with.
Oh, you wake up too early, don't you? Yeah.
I wake up at 6, yes. And partially that is because I have a cat and he likes to be up at that time, but partially also because, I'm on the West Coast. I need to be making sure that I still have a couple office hours where Europe is available. So
Yes, good point.
you get up, you go to the desk, you clock in, you answer those emails, hop on whatever calls. I've had regular meetings at 7 a.m.
Yep.
Like that is the reality. But I also have a cat. I know I've mentioned it already a couple of times. I don't know if anybody knew this, but I have Squeaks McGee.
Cristina has a cat?
Right? Mind blowing, I'm sure. But I go and I look into his little eyes at around, 1 or 2 p.m. and he's going, I'm ready for a nap again. And I'm going, yes, thank you. And you lie down, you curl up with the fluffy 15 pounds of purr, and you go, this is amazing. Because you stare at screens for so much of the day that, you know what, even if I'm not fully asleep, even if I just have a rerun of a show that I have seen a million times on, you best believe I'm lying down with this cat and decompressing.
Yeah.
If I sleep, great. If I don't, either way, me, cat, peace and quiet, give me. Yeah.
This is why you're only on regional TV, Jono. You don't nap enough.
Regional TV? Now that's an insult, folks. Come on.
Is it? Oh, is it? Oh, too
No.
good for regional TV now, are we?
If Melbourne's regional, then so is London, so is Vancouver, so is every other big
That's
city in
totally
the world.
regional. I was a regional radio DJ. I never took that as an insult, Jono. Interesting insight into your ego, young man.
First off, everything in the UK is regional, as I've learned. Like a 4-hour drive covers the entire country.
11,
whereas
12,
here,
13.
I had to move to Cairns for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, let's just go to the next closest major city, which was 4.5 hours driving away, let alone being 4 days drive from my home of Melbourne. Anyway, the point is, back to naps quickly, and I would have to say, why don't you all both just sleep 8 hours a day?
No.
And instead of sleeping 7 hours a day, and then here's the thing you don't consider, right? A 1 hour nap is like a 10-second penalty in pit lane. It's not 10-second penalty. It's like 11 and a half, because you don't consider human reaction time for somebody who needs to go, I need to make sure it's at least 10.1. Otherwise I'm going to get in trouble by the team boss because we're going to get another penalty, and the driving in and out of the box as well. Yeah. It's not a 1 hour nap. It's more like an hour 15 by the time you have to get your eyes to shut.
That's a feature, not a bug.
In your mood.
Plus, you have to remember, me and Cristina are our own bosses. There you go. So
we make the rules.
Yeah. And also, the time zones thing is brilliant for me. So if I want to stay up late, I can still be really productive at 12, 1 o'clock. Like most of the information we pass is after midnight, like my time of day, because you're still up and about. And like I can speak to New York until 9 and everyone's still in their offices. So yeah, I think just stick to your own schedule. The world, we're not restricted. We're not coal miners anymore. We don't have to be at the coalface 9 to 5. All right. But we do have to cover the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I'm actually angry about Jono's take on naps. Part of me wants to just keep arguing with him. Because if I go to bed at like 10, I'm going to go to bed at like 10 p.m. and like, I'm going to be sensible. I'm up at 3. I'll be up at 3 going, well, back to work. Let's go back to work. All right, cool.
First off, you're talking to a guy who's, I've told you, I've sold my bed. Like, there is no sleeping when you're in Australia. Every time zone works against you. Look at you two. If I had to deal with both of you two every day, I would never sleep because there's never an adequate time zone for it.
Yep. But it does mean as well, in our WhatsApp chat, we can slag off Cristina and Matt in the morning, get it all out of the way, and then by the time they wake up, there's too much news, it's come in, it's gone. So it is handy for that. We have to wait till quite late at night to start slagging you and Steve off. Before you've gone off to work.
The more you talk smack about us, that means we're doing something right, honestly. No. And hey, why do we have to talk about Vegas? We're not here for Vegas. No, just joking. Of course.
Honestly, I've got so much PTSD from the Aussies. If I never thought that anyone would overtake the Dutch in pains in my ass. But like, oh my God, the Aussies have been a nightmare all season. And I'm holding my tongue until Lando Norris gets over that line. And then I am going to go I'm going to go to war with Australia.
And you're going to have the Ashes too, Spanners. Don't forget.
Is it a winter Ashes? It's a winter Ashes, isn't it?
Well, no, summer over here. It'll be a summer Ashes.
Yeah. So it's our winter Ashes. Yeah.
Your winter. Yeah.
Yeah, a double would be great. Norris and England cricket would be amazing. All right, let's fire into it. I don't have an intro plan, so this will be rather loose and sketchy. which is luckily our philosophy is loose and sketchy. You are listening to Missed Apex Podcast. We live F1. Welcome to Missed Apex Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Reddy, but my friends call me Spanners. So, let's be friends. Today, we are going to preview the Las Vegas Grand Prix that is quickly establishing itself as something a little different within the Formula One calendar. It is cold. It's in a desert. It's in a weird time zone that I find strangely inconvenient. It's currently covered in water in large parts, and it is finding itself at the beginning of the triple finale, triple header showdown of the 2025 season. I cannot emphasize this enough. It does look pretty good for Lando Norris, but anything can happen. We are in a sport where you can lose a month's worth of gains in a second, in a moment, a mistake, a moment of madness, a moment of inconsequential actions that have a butterfly effect up the field and end up knocking you out. Just look at Leclerc at Brazil. Did nothing wrong, wiped out, and also helps Antonelli stay on track and not get punished for, maybe not leaving quite enough room or as much room as he might have done. So anything can happen in Formula One. It definitely isn't over until it's over. I, as a Hamilton fan, I still remember 2007, Raikkonen from the top rope, out of nowhere. No one was talking about a Raikkonen title, and there he is. And we've had drivers with big leads in the past, Alonso in 2012, lose out. We had Sebastian Vettel in 2010, who didn't lead the championship one single day until that final. So still a loads to play for. I would argue one of the most exciting season run-ins of all time. So just want to remind you, though, that we're an independent podcast produced in the podcasting shed with the kind support of our patrons and partners. So please support us at patreon.com/missedapex. We aim to bring you a race review before your Monday morning commute. We might be wrong, but we're first. In a podcast panel that spans the entire globe, I'm sitting in London and I'm joined from somewhere in Australia. I'll just say Melbourne because that's the only one I know, by Jonathan Simon, TV reporter, influencer and legend Jonathan Simon. Hello, Jono.
You got it correct, Spanners. And for the first time, I'm on TikTok.
Wow.
Everybody check out the show notes later on and give me a follow because our next panel member is an expert of TikTok, and I need to get some tips at the end of this podcast. But most of all, I don't know what I've been doing with my life without F1. I've always complained that there's too many races, and now at one point I'm going, I need this triple header coming up. I've been watching reruns of the OC with my girlfriend, and I'm just like, I just need some F1. What are we doing?
I'm the same. I've been the first to rally against, no sprint races. 24 races is too much. But it's just like they got me slowly but surely hooked, and now it's become normal. And I'm actually dreading the off season, even though I think it's going to be the shortest off season ever. You're barely going to notice the lack of F1. But now I'm just like, it's just part of my routine. I'm a bit disappointed when there's not a sprint weekend. And if you have more than 1 week off of F1, I start to like shake a little bit. And people are like, hey, Spanners, go, get away from me. Have you got any F1? Have you got any F1?
Well, the break is good. I got to admit, you're right. Like the break from Formula One is always great. It's fun. But for some reason, I'm just itching to decide the title. I think maybe in different years, that might be the difference though, right? Spanners is in other years, I go, well, Max has won the title again. He's just the best and we can't beat him. This year I'm going, well, I don't know. Like Norris looks like he's sewn up the title. We don't know. Something we'll talk about in a little bit.
And we from that end of the globe, we're also joined from Vancouver, which is really far away, but to the other side, by Cristina Lee Mace. Hello, Tina.
Hello, hello. We are having a good sunny day over here, but I will have to say, in addition to, yes, we need race weekends every single weekend, every single time we don't have one, I lose track of what day of the week it is.
That happens. Yeah, that happens to me.
Every single time.
So, on Monday, I was convinced it was Tuesday. And because I then had a nap, I also then thought it was Wednesday, which caused me massive scheduling issues. So go to the pre-show on YouTube if you want to hear our nap schedules. which I'm sure you do. But Cristina, are you going to be okay talking about F1 now? Because Sky had a special TikTok channel called Sky Sports Halo, which was the little sis. They literally said the little sis, and it was to help girls like you understand all the sports.
It was absolutely baffling to me to see it come up on my page and go, oh, okay, how many people approved this? How many people thought that this was the good idea? And to make things a little bit more complicated, because it's Sky Sports, they have a geo block on a lot of their content. So a lot of it, I wasn't even able to see how bad it was because I couldn't even access the content. I had to go looking for it for people who reposted it or placed it on other platforms. But it certainly embarrassing for Sky Sports.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people are not going to forget this. This is a joke that's going to live on. And you even see other media companies posting with the caption being like, sorry, this isn't in pink. Hope you get it anyway.
Christine,
Like, yeah.
I can't believe you're bringing that energy. And that was apparently a reply to criticism. So they were going for this whole, like, you go, girl, kind of like, go, oh no, I girl bossed too hard.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. It was the type of page that you would have expected to see pop up maybe 10, 15 years ago at a point where, there wasn't this large influx of female fans. There have always been female fans of sports, but without question, in the last couple of years, we've had this massive wave that has come forward. And the thing is, when you arrive in a large wave, you're able to make spaces that are comfortable for yourself.
Yeah.
And you do think, yes, okay, that's probably what Sky Sports was trying to replicate and piggyback off of that success and make themselves a page for that sort of energy to live on. But the thing is, the only reason why female creators have to make those spaces is because the main media companies, teams, what have you, anyone running official channels, most don't do a good enough job to delete hateful, rude comments and block people that are not behaving appropriately in those comment sections. So you're looking at Sky Sports going, how about instead of making a page to shove us off to the side and be like, you guys go hang out in that corner.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys actually
include everyone?
Why don't you guys actually just moderate your comment sections properly and block the people that are making it so that way female fans don't feel comfortable there?
Well, I hope this is the case in our Patreon Discord, and I've had some positive feedback on that, which is we just shut down any kind of like lads kind of thing. Go and do that somewhere else, and that kind of thing does just make you feel less excluded and therefore more excluded as well. So I think Mark here in the chat is just saying what we're talking about. In case we didn't explain it well enough, Sky Sports did a dedicated Twitter account to making things more girl-friendly, and everything was in pink and everything was glittery. And the focus, I saw the only F1 thing I saw was about Leclerc getting engaged to his now fiance. Like, congratulations, I guess. But it's like, well, the girls will love this. But you can imagine the boardroom, like they came at it with such an energy. In the boardroom, it must have played so well because they very clearly thought they had nailed it. They're like, we have nailed it. We've done this. Sorry, Jono.
Well, that's what I want to know, Spanners, because I came on this podcast and I told you before, I feel like I have way more questions for you both on this topic than you would ever like ask me about. Because first off, Spanners, you got a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
What did she think about this?
Laughed
as soon
her
as
head
it
off.
came out?
She had the same reaction that I saw, like every female creator, female like TikTok sports creator had the same reaction, which was, what on earth are you doing? This is appalling. Fair play to Sky. They took that criticism and they got rid of it, shuffled it under the carpet and hoped that it would go away. Like Maria just says, what if I'm not the glittery type? And what if I am?
Thing. It should have been more of a. They should have branded it as, "Hey, here's a." Well, what? Well, I was going to say something, and I realized I was wrong. Like
they just shouldn't have done it.
It's just wrong completely. Yeah.
Anyway, into the Vegas Grand Prix. Cristina is a very knowledgeable lady. She's a lady content creator, and you don't need glittery pink. You have a fantastic segment that should be its own TikTok channel on its own, frankly, which is The Bullet, where you break down what everybody needs to be looking forward to. And I use that as a full-time professional content creator. I tune into Cristina Lee Mace for The Bullet to remind me like what's going down in Vegas, what I need to look out for. So if we may steal a mini bullet from you, Cristina Lee Mace, what do we look for in Vegas?
Absolutely. So in Vegas, the Las Vegas Strip Circuit, you have 17 turns, 2 DRS zones, and 50 laps will be run because the track is 6.201 kilometers long. That is the second longest
that's long.
on the calendar.
Yeah, that's long. I didn't quite
Yeah.
realize that. Like, because the whole thing of the track shape is that, like, it does look like an upside down pig and spider pig, and there's nothing I can do to get rid of that in my image, that image in my head. But also, the straight is really long. I was watching back the highlights, and I'd forgotten how long that straight is, and also then what a good overtaking opportunity that is.
Yeah, that straight is 1.9 kilometers long.
Wow.
It is insane. And then you also, in contrast to that, have the second shortest run from pole to the first braking zone at 112 meters.
That's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. And they're going into a hairpin turn. It is always absolute chaos, partially as well because the temperatures are so cool.
Yeah.
So drivers are going to be slipping and sliding all around. We've seen it year after year, them struggling to get any form of traction and warming up their tires. And if anyone's wondering, well, why didn't they go softer with their tires in this case? It will increase graining. And it's not a good compromise, essentially, to give up the grip that they would be getting and the better performance of the tires for the shorter warm-up time.
2 questions on that then. Did you say it's the second shortest run down to turn 1?
Yes, behind Baku.
Oh, I was going to say, can I guess which one was that one? And not your fault, Cristina, but because I made you turn up your mic so much, we're hearing the desk sounds there. But yeah, so Baku is that's interesting. So why do they have the 2 tracks where you have the really big long straights, but at the start, I think that's to do with restricting chaos then at the start.
Possibly.
So we turned up to a go-kart track. It's Brighton. It's on the south coast of the UK, Brighton karting. Cool outdoor, a small outdoor track. And they were doing rolling starts because they said, oh, it causes too much chaos into turn 1. And I was like, please, sir, can we have the chaos? And I sort of begged them. I went, please, can we just have the standing starts? I said, these guys are all sensible. They'll look out for each other. And then I got my way and chaos. It happened. It happened immediately. So Baku then is the shortest. This is the second shortest. And the other thing was the tyres. So I might pause your bullet there to go into the tyres a little bit because, you would think, let's go C6 because we want more tyre wear and more stops. But from my memory, last year, John, I'm sure the Ferraris were struggling a little bit with the tyres because they qualified very well, but I think they ended up dropping back because of the tyres. And then the Mercedes, who are much better in colder conditions, was it not on 1-2 for Mercedes?
It was, yes. George Russell won last year's race, Lewis Hamilton second, and they dominated. Now, they're playing down their expectations this weekend, as you always do, if you're smart. I think isn't this a modern day thing, is always play yourself down, don't talk yourself up. I think it's like everybody's learned to do that in 2025.
Mate, under promise, over deliver. That's
got to
do. Like, if you're a parent, you know that. You never say, this is going to be the most amazing day ever. You say, we're going there. There is a bit of a fun fair, but honestly, no idea what's there. Underplay.
No.
Underplay.
PTSD. You're reminding me of when I used to wear my little suit and tie and walk into work meetings in my business job, and I didn't care one bit. Anyway, because that's all they used to utter every day. So, next thing is, Pirelli are bringing the C3, C4, C5.
Yeah.
Now, you might think, well, why would you have a C6 available and not bring it? Well, Cristina mentioned the cold conditions. We're in the desert. For those who don't know, it gets very cold in the desert at night. And I'm not going into science, but it just does. And it's to do with, air density and particles and blah, blah, blah and all that. But the C6 was already difficult to use in Baku. And I remember Verstappen at the time told Pirelli to ditch the C6. Don't use it again, he's basically saying. And everybody was thinking, well, we might see it again in Vegas because it might be, similar characteristics and everything. But the graining, like you mentioned, was such a big issue last year. The McLarens, this was arguably one of their worst races.
Yes.
Well, I don't even think that's an argument. Last year, this was one of their worst races. They finished 7th and 8th, and they were nowhere to be seen. And a lot of their struggles were to do with graining. There were another couple of issues the team identified as well. So that's the problem here at Las Vegas, is can you get those tires warmed up? You got the C3, C4, C5. You got harder compounds. I don't know if that C3 is going to be used that much this weekend. That's my opinion, but I think it's just way too hard of a compound. I think you're going to see a medium soft race like we always see.
That's a shame. We'll miss Matt on this bit, but I'm going to attempt to try and remind myself of what graining is and why it's a problem. So is it that if it's colder, it's not going to be sticky, but it is still going to kind of wear away? So it just causes the bobbles as it stays on. And as it causes the bobbles, those bobbles stop it having a bigger contact patch. Therefore, it feels like you've got no grip. But you can go through a graining phase and come out the other end and the tyre is still good. So nothing bad is happening to the tyre. So some drivers can get through graining and come out the other side. And we've had a couple of races where, and I can't remember where, with the McLaren drivers in particular, where Piastri has pitted because of graining and Norris has carried on and gone through it. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. And I do like the fact that the conditions here are different enough that it makes it something that the teams have to think about. Because you did kind of get into this thing with the schedule where you go, we must avoid this area because it's too cold at that time of year. Oh, no, there's too much rain that time of year, so we need to avoid this area. And what you end up getting is this very level playing field of conditions across the tracks. So I love that they've come to the desert and they go, oh, God, desert's hot. That'll be fine. Because we want F1 to be hot and go, we'll do it at night. That won't cause any problems.
And it's going to be like 10 degrees Celsius. What's that in Fahrenheit? Do you use Fahrenheit, Cristina, in Canada? No,
I use Celsius.
Good.
Wait, hang on. Good. Is this Canada, UK, and Australia? We all use Celsius?
For some things.
Oh, my God.
We're wonky. We are mixed. We use Fahrenheit for our ovens and sometimes still for body temperature.
What the?
Yeah.
Yeah. We use a mixed system.
Oh, okay. That's weird. And miles or kilometers?
Usually kilometers.
Oh, good. Yeah, so we go. Spanners, you're on your own there.
I'm on our own with miles, yeah. Okay. I do think kilometers makes more sense, but also Celsius definitely makes more sense. So it gets down to 10 degrees Celsius.
Even lower this year, 5.
5?
Is some of the estimates,
It's going to be cold.
That's insane.
The worst part about it is, have you seen the flooding going on? I know people have probably kept track of that, but if you haven't seen it, there's been like flash flooding in Vegas. Now, I think that's all cleared as of a couple of hours ago, a couple of people who have landed in Vegas. Now, I know it's Formula One, and I'm going to tell everybody listening to this, whatever you see about rain in Formula One is going to disappoint you. We had a cyclone in Brazil, and I fell to my knees at the start when I saw teams fitting dry tires. How do you have a cyclone, a hurricane, a typhoon, whatever you want to call it, and then you're fitting dry tires? I fell to my knees, Spanners. I couldn't believe it. I almost didn't want to watch the race.
Well, I think in F1 as well now, if they will delay a race. So if there is rain, they will wait for better conditions. This has got to do with the visibility and spray, and that's just the F1 we live in now. And I think all the teams have cottoned on to that. So, for example, last year in Brazil, you had Tsunoda, who, and a couple of other drivers, but I was only focusing on Tsunoda, who he did the call at the right time to go onto wets. Everybody else was on the radio crying to stop the race. Oh, it's too dangerous. I'm too precious. Tsunoda made that right call, we watched that race. He was on a race-winning charge because no one else wanted to get on there. And if they'd have let that run, Tsunoda would have definitely won. I know you don't have time to go and rewatch and check that, but just trust me, Tsunoda would definitely have won that race. All right, okay, so where were we in the bullet? Oh, no, go on, Jonathan.
Can I just mention on the flooding that I think personally, and look out for this, especially in the first couple of practice sessions, it's going to be a massively dirty track. There's not going to be much grip.
Lots of evolution.
All that rubber's washed away. So the track evolution, as you said, is going to be massive. Come qualifying, you'd want to be last out there on the racetrack, or do you? Because at street circuits, an accident like we saw last year with a couple of people, Colapinto, which may have cost him the Red Bull seat, apparently, have had issues. And
do the drivers get to choose? Like, how much do the McLaren drivers who are in a championship fight get to choose? So if Piastri says, hey, I just want to get my lap in, and Norris is like, no, I want to wait till the last second, do they get to choose? Or do you think, oh, no, we all remember Rosberg in Monaco. I can't let Piastri go out there, set a lap, and then cause a yellow flag. Cristina, you got as far as graining before that, I think, fairly reasonable tangent.
Absolutely. The one thing we will add on to the tire conversation is to remember that as much as they can warm up their tires because of the long straight we previously mentioned, that also does cool things down a lot. And then if they have a safety car, that's going to restart the entire warming process. So got a lot of hot and cold, bit of fun to go through this weekend. We're also going to be seeing the majority of the lap at 78% full throttle.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that
majority of the
is
lap,
that the
i.e.
highest?
78% of the lap.
Is that
at
as
full
high as
throttle.
Monza?
It is very high, yes. I think Monza might be a little bit higher, depending on which estimates you look at, but it is up there.
Yeah. Yeah, but
It's probably lower for the Alpine. But yeah.
John,
Definitely lower for
and
the
for the and for the
Alpine.
Ferraris as well, because they're going to be Lyco from about halfway.
Yeah.
Lift and
But
coast,
the
please.
Alpine, they did well last year here. They qualified in
Yes.
P3.
Yeah, there was a P3 on there, which I assume was Gasly. I'm just going to assume that, right? Because I quickly watched the 8-minute highlights and I saw the pink and I was like, wait, is that a racing point? What have I clicked on the right one? No, it's an Alpine right up there. And obviously last season they were flipping between the blue and the pink livery, weren't they? Mike Stoner says, think they should delay the race if the start time is 4 a.m. UK time. Now, I am going to be really upset if I set my alarm for 3 a.m., which I'm going to have to, and then the race is delayed. Like, I'm going to be pretty cranky by the time we do the race review. And by the way, we are going to do the race review at 6:30 UK with me, Jono, and Matt, assuming there's no delay. And I won't do a spoilery title to the episode. So can you imagine that? Like you wake up in the morning and you see that on your podcast feed and it's like, Norris clinches championship as Piastri decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. I won't do that, I promise. But yeah, if it gets delayed, I am going to be increasingly cranky. Cristina. Oh, sorry.
And I just remind everyone that the last time we had a delay in Vegas was for that FP1 session, year one.
The drain
I was
cover.
trackside. I had ran across the city in my heels because this is a point where, you know, no one knows where is open and like how you can walk to any place. Uber, not going to happen. So my feet were killing me. I get to my seat just as the red flag is coming out.
No. Oh, man. So I think you're the one who delays people for getting to their seats. I'll never forget in my whole life, you, me, Matt Trumpets, Mrs. Trumpets, all sprinting through Miami to try and catch the start of the sprint race. And it was hot as well. And we're all like dehydrated. We're pushing each other along. Christina's got like the littlest legs in the world as well. And I've not exactly got big legs, so it was super unfair. Then we get near it. We can't find which our stand is. And then Mrs. Trumpets, I'm not telling tales on her, but she just suddenly went, because she's such like a good mum. And she was like, everyone needs water. No, everyone's dehydrated. I'm like, the race is literally starting. And she disappears. We're like, where is Mrs. Trumpet? She's gone. And then we find her finally, and she's got like water for everyone. I'm like, no, Amanda, we're going to miss the race. And we got to the race, and there's photos of this. We're all red and dripping with sweat just as the green flag is starting to go. So we did catch it. But I think it's you, Cristina. You're the curse for this kind of thing.
It might just be, I like having some good stories to tell, an element of chaos, to be frank.
Yeah, and also, while we're on the logistics of the timings, my son really wants to get up early and watch the race, but he is doing his GCSE mocks, which I get. So he's 15, so he's the final year of, I guess, what you'd call high school, secondary school. I don't know.
You can make an exception, can't you?
Oh, no.
For this?
So the conversation was had, it was overheard by my wife, and it was vetoed hard. He will be left.
Well, it's a Sunday. What's he doing on a Sunday? Come on.
Revision for the marks, and it can't mess up his sleep
please.
cycle. Hey, look, if it was just me, do you know what I mean? I would do it, but yeah.
Well, you should sneak him up, Spanners, like in the middle of the night.
So I have done that.
Sure.
I've done it before. I have woken him up in the middle of the night.
But don't make my mistake. One day I switched on the TV at 3 a.m. for a Brazil race, and the volume was at like 70. And so there should be an illegal ban for TVs when they're made. All these companies, you should never switch on a TV. You should have like a 5-second buffer period to change the volume before you wake up the entire house. And I got in trouble and I had to go back to sleep. This is when I was a kid trying to sneak up and watch Brazil 2006 or something like that. Anyway, can I also mention, and this is where Cristina will be happy. Now, are you going to the race, Cristina? No, I don't think so. Not this year.
Oh, we were so close to going. I was so close to going.
They've patched up the those manholes, or as Sky Sports Halo would call it, something different. And there's no other. Yeah, sorry, were you going to say something about that? Or
no, I was, but my little decision engine went nope.
No. Yeah, probably. Let's not touch that. Now, there's no other major track changes. DRS is unchanged. I think the racing here is pretty good. And Christina mentioned it's one of the shortest runs to turn one. I think it works. I think the first couple of corners here still invite some good racing. You got a straight after. Baku still kind of works as well. It's a lot tighter around the Baku circuit. but it's not. Like you look at the track design and you go, why would you design such a massive circuit and disappoint everybody with such a short run to turn one? I think it's good. I think it still invites some action. You'll see some, it's a long radius left-hander to begin the lap, and it's going to invite some drama for sure. I think, at least.
And in 2023, wasn't it the track, or at least up in the top 3 with the most overtakes over the season?
Yeah. That's because it's basically a NASCAR track, isn't it? They went American. They went, what's going to be the most entertaining thing here? Let's have a long straight where you can overtake, and then let's get back to that really long straight as quickly as possible. Let's just, if you're going to be in America, do things the American way. Be entertaining. And I love the fact that it's not 8 meters wide through a castle section. They seem to make it wide enough where you can pass. It might be the best street circuit on the calendar.
It is very American. Like the castle in Vegas is the Sphere. Like, can you believe it? Like that's the equivalent. The Sphere, can you believe it? Like, I can't wait to see 1,700 shots of the Sphere, which is probably the over-under this weekend, if you want to bet on that. And should we talk about the championship permutations?
Maybe.
Still, obviously,
I think we've got some more Spear chat from Cristina.
I mean, the only Sphere chat that I could add in was, how many times did I look out my hotel room and just have it staring back at me last year? That was a bit excessive, I do have to say, but very much looking forward to the animations. Yeah. The only new one that I've seen yet has been the Disney one, and that looked pretty cool. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what new animations we get on the Sphere, but we've pretty much covered everything that is need to know about the race as far as the bullet is concerned. It's going to be cold. It's a long straight, short run to turn 1, and the back of the starting grid is curved.
You need to go and find Cristina Lee Mace on TikTok and follow that bullet, because that really does set you up well for the weekend. And I often rip that off for previews when Christina's here. The Sphere is such an incredible building. Like, well done for that. But it is so shoehorned in when you go, hang on a minute, why is the car only in the bottom 1 centimeter of my screen? It's because they've zoomed all the way out so that they can see the Sphere. All right, so where is it you wanted to take us to, Jono? The championship connotations.
Well, I think, we've got a triple header. We've got Vegas, Qatar, and then Abu Dhabi to finish off the season. Now, Norris leads the championship by 24 points. Piastri is 25 points ahead of Verstappen. And Norris is 49 points ahead of Verstappen. So I think we have to fairly say that Lando Norris has got one hand on the trophy here, potentially. He's the favorite. I don't think that's a bad argument to make. But if we see his car fail or something different happens, like we saw in the Dutch Grand Prix, Piastri wins, all of a sudden we're back on. So this is one championship that won't be decided in Vegas, because no matter what point Lando Norris scores or how many points he scores this weekend, it's going to 100% go down to Qatar, even if Verstappen finishes second and Piastri DNFs. Verstappen will still be in mathematical contention for the championship. So that's kind of what you're looking at here to end the season.
He can't win the championship in Vegas, otherwise it will stay in Vegas. But Trumpets, thankfully, has done a rundown of the totals for me. Very weak dad joke. Apologies, couldn't help it. But basically, there's 83 points left. That's the maximum you can score. So Lando Norris, if Piastri wins every single event, which, sorry, Australia, looks incredibly unlikely. In that case...
Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, John, have I offended you? What are you going to do? What are you going to do from all the way over there? What are you going to do? Are you going to get an army of kangaroos on me?
Well, possibly. And, the one thing is, I can't wait to see your celebrations when Norris wins this title. Well, it's like the Spanners household.
It's going to be relief. I don't even support Lando Norris. It's just going to be relief that my Piastri prediction wasn't the worst possible prediction I could have made.
The best one was, I think you and I... It was a few months ago. You said that Norris would have the title locked up with 4 races to go.
Yeah,
now, this is when he was 50 points down.
I realised the maths wouldn't work, but yeah, I did realise maths wouldn't work. Yeah, but no. Go on.
Well, just on that. So, here's the thing with Oscar Piastri is, can you just imagine the relief of him finding form again out of nowhere in Vegas? Yeah. What are our percentage chances on that? Is that going to happen?
Well, you have to go on trends, and the trend is Norris better than Piastri for many, many races now. 5 fifth places. You can have the caveat if you think the penalty was undeserved in Brazil. But you have to sort of go, well, the trend should continue. And even if the trend, we have a spike and Piastri goes and wins the race with a McLaren 1-2, even if we have that spike, you have to go, well, that's a spike, not a trend. Like even with Antonelli now, he had a big spike against George Russell, who had some issues in the last race. You would have to still bet with the trend of George Russell being ahead of Antonelli. So even if Piastri gets a win here and claws back 7 points, you'd still think that the momentum, I know Lando Norris doesn't like momentum, the trend is still going in Lando Norris's direction. But with Piastri's real downturn in form, you would have to say it's the more extraordinary thing to say, well, he's somehow going to snap out of that and start winning all those races. And by the way, if you do come over with kangaroos, I believe there's 60 million kangaroos in Australia, and there is a population of like 65 million in the UK. So, I mean, every Briton would only have to fight, on average, less than one kangaroo. I think we've got it. I think we've got this.
It's a 50-50 fight. It really is. I mean, what's a tighter fight? Norris versus Piastri this year, or Brits versus kangaroos?
Yeah.
Let's get the gloves on.
Any given kangaroo versus man fight could go either way. But like, are Australia optimistic? All the Australian media I've seen are really, really down on Piastri's form.
Well, I'm sick of it, because the amount of Aussies who come up to me and they're like, Jono, what do you think? Like a McLaren favouring Piastri, and we've gone on and on about
the conspiracy,
this. Please, like, come on, are they actually? I was so proud that during the week, Alan Jones, Formula One's or Australia's last Formula One world champion in 1980, went out and said it's complete BS. Like, I mean,
good.
He defined it really well, in the sense he kind of said, hey, it's a complicated sport. He said it's conspiracy theories from armchair experts who are misunderstanding a complex sport.
Hey, hang on. I will not have a bad word said about armchair experts. That's what puts food on my table.
But I will say this, and a lot of the vibe of Australians down here is of, I mean, what's the word? Like, what's the opposite to relief? Stress? Is it like they've not given up, but almost they're hanging on by a thread? Their hopes are fading really fast.
I think it's extreme disappointment, because you had this perfect...
Yeah.
Okay, so from my point of view, it was very painful, because I'd said when they signed Piastri, I said, well, show me the race that really says this guy's a superstar. And I said he's slower than Norris in qualifying. It was 20-4 last year. I said about the race pace stuff and the tyre stuff, and then people were coming at me all at the beginning of the season, and I think it's fair because Piastri was winning. However, there were factors like, the main one is Norris underperforming. That's the main one. Also, you had Pirelli going a step harder. So if your main weakness is tyre wear and Pirelli go a little bit harder with their tyres, obviously that's going to disappear a little bit. Plus, McLaren seemed to have this strange cooling trick that everyone's talking about. So that got rid of a little bit of that. And you had a car that was dominant. So you had a car that was dominant, and we were talking about this being early Mercedes hybrid levels of dominant, plus your teammate is just biffing it constantly, culminating in that bizarre Canada Grand Prix overtake attempt. So he was ahead in clean air with no competition. And now his teammate is doing well. The gap has closed a little bit. He's in the pack. Not only is he behind Norris, but he's behind a bunch of other people. So in a way, it's kind of like a reversion to the mean. There was, statistically, you get a bunch of stuff in your favour and it's all gone back to average. But for Australians who were supporting him, you see him up front, you see idiots like me, you email them, you get in their DMs, you call them a turnip, and you're completely justified and you're on this roll and like, yeah, he's 34 points ahead. Of course. Like, that's a massive source of national pride, and then you see it just disappear and get pulled away from you. I have every sympathy with the Australian fans, but not that much, because you were really mean earlier in the season.
Well, I think so too. And there were some of the articles I've seen written by people I thought, I'm not going to mention names, but people I thought were really respected journalists in my head, and I'm reading nonsense from them about the Piastri situation. McLaren are a team based in the UK. They're Bahraini owned and funded. They have an Italian team principal. Their CEOs from the United States. It's a team named after a Kiwi legend. So what sense do they have to favour Lando Norris over Oscar Piastri? It's a guy who is Zach Brown. I know corporate speak is a bit hard to hear from Zach Brown. He does it a lot, but he consistently says we want a fair fight at this championship. But I think, how about last year at Hungary? Were they not in favor of Oscar Piastri then to help him win over Lando Norris? Like, come on, you can always spin the narrative in your favor.
Jono, I think it's fair to say that conspiracy thing is much more prevalent in Australia. Like, has more traction there than it has had
but
here.
very, very prevalent, can I add? And that's why I bring it up, because it's all I hear about constantly not from diehard F1 fans, although sometimes I'll scroll on Facebook and some guys I know who are massive F1 fans, massive Piastri fans. It's ridiculous to see some of the stuff they say. But when it comes to every other driver on the grid, it's not the same bias.
Yeah, but you should see Cristina, about Stroll. Like, you are all in defending Stroll. I've never once heard. I don't think I've even heard you say the word Stroll ever.
No, in Canada, the thing is, if you're not wearing the maple leaf, we really don't care what you're doing as an athlete.
Interesting. And Stroll doesn't?
Well, he's not representing Canada. He's representing himself and Aston Martin in this championship. He might put a maple leaf on his helmet, but he's not, he's not on Team Canada. Sidney Crosby, when he's on the Penguins, I'm like, cool, you did something, but whatever. But the moment he puts on that Team Canada kit, you're going, yes, right, absolutely. Same with McDavid. You're going, I don't care when you're on the Oilers.
Oh, but in F1, we've always, like, whatever flag you race against, that's kind of, you are partly, that's like Alex Albon wanting to honour his family and his Thai roots by racing under the Thai flag,
I think you guys have much more of a culture of that than Canada does.
Okay. Yeah, patriotism,
It's just different. If you're not wearing the maple leaf, you're not representing Canada. I'm under no obligation to cheer for you.
Okay.
Like, you're not bringing glory to the nation. Whatever.
So my thing is always like, oh, patriotism. Oh, yeah, that's so silly. Oh, you're such sheep. And then it comes to spot. Oh, come on, England. Come on, England. And like during the World
the
Cup,
Ashes are starting
the Ashes
soon.
Is coming up as well. No, during the Ashes, I'm like, Australia could sink into the sea for all I care. Like, I'd never hate a nation more than during a cricket Ashes tournament. But getting back to the championship, Cristina, like, is there any way back for either of the two that aren't Lando Norris, for Verstappen or Piastri?
Oh, I think the biggest thing is you can never count Verstappen out. We've said it so many times. It's going and looking at him and being like, oh, well, he'd have to win everything from here to the end of the season. And you're going, in recent history that has happened. Is it a different championship with a slightly different car and circumstances? Yes. But you do always keep a slight look on him and going, are you going to do it again? Are you? So keep an eye on him. But at the end of the day, I think the right phrase is, Norris has one hand on the championship. For me with McLaren, it was always going to come down to the fact that Norris has more experience. And it's looking like that has been the big factor. Yes, he had a little bit of a slump, but he has experience with dealing with that a lot more than Piastri does. How many years has he been on the grid dealing with less than ideal circumstances? He has fine-tuned his team of people that he has around him over those years. It's just a much better system because of all those years. And it is going to make a difference. We're seeing it right now.
So Norris has had dips and then had to get out of them. This is Piastri's first time in a championship lead in F1. And so, that mental aspect of, right, I'm in the lead, what do I do? I think that does play on you if you've got a lead.
Absolutely.
It changes where you are.
Absolutely. We're essentially seeing Piastri going through a massive learning curve of what it means to deal with these circumstances. And guess what? It's fantastic that he's getting to do that in his third year. It's going to make him much better equipped to deal with it. He's going to get more opportunities, theoretically. Theoretically.
Yeah, but Cristina,
he's going to get more opportunities.
What I keep getting, Cristina, is people going, he's only in his third year, bless him. Oh, you can't be too harsh. He's only in his third year. So we've gone from he's going to be a future superstar. We were definitely correct to sign him to, well, I know it's going wrong, but he's only in his third year. So he might never get another chance. In F1, it's not a prep school. It's not finishing school. You don't have to balance a Bible on your head while carrying flutes of milk. Like, this is it. His whole career building up to this point, in his third year, he got the chance to fight for a title. That's the thing, not, oh, bless him, in his third year, he'll learn. Surely.
True, to a certain extent. As an athlete, they always have to hold on to the thought that there might be another opportunity, that there's always more space for them to grow. That is critical for them to actually maintain this level of performance and to push for more and more and more. If they decide, oh, this is as good as I'm going to get, then they're not a championship contender. then they're a midfield driver that's going, you know what? Full credit to Pierre Gasly. His career sort of went down the toilet, but he is a great example of, you know what? This is probably as good as he's going to get. So he's going to sign with Alpine, get the contract, and continue to get to being an F1 driver. But with Piastri, with how much potential he has, with getting to fight for a championship at this point in his career, he does have to keep that momentum going forward and going, you know what? I could fight again. I could do this again. And I need to be ready if that chance ever comes back. Just because this is the first chance he has to fight for something doesn't mean he can't keep an eye on the future.
The weird part about this is, and Sebastian Vettel was a great he summarized this really well when they asked him 10 years ago, why do you celebrate all your wins like it's the biggest thing in the world? And he said, because you never know when it's going to be your last. Like, who would have thought the 2013 Spanish Grand Prix? Now, I have a very weird memory and people are going to find me really weird for this. I remember sitting in a gym the next day watching a rerun of the race, watching Alonso stand on that podium going, wow, I can't wait to see how many more he's going to win. And, and I remember that. And that was the last time he stood on the top step of a podium. It's been 12 years since then. So Piastri, who knows? This might be his last chance at an F1 title fight.
Might be.
And this might not be. That's why he's got to grab it with two hands and hopefully get some luck on his side and hopefully another Norris DNF at one of these 3 races. Did you like how Gunther Steiner said, if Piastri's not on it next year, he should just quit McLaren? If he comes back, 4 races into next year and he's still behind Lando, he has a point. Should he quit McLaren? Would you love to be number 2 as a driver in your career? No.
No, but the thing is, you have to earn that number 1 title.
That's like the whole
thing. If you want
thing.
to be number 1, you have to prove that you're better than the other driver. If you have to go to another team and it's strategic to be prioritized, fine, sure, but you still have to live with the knowledge that, no, you were number 2 to them. So now you have to go to another team and hope that that's enough, hope that they give you a better car.
Look at Russell. Russell is taking that exact mentality. Last year, the only person he had to beat for his reputation was Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton was trying to beat the field. Russell was only trying to get in front of Hamilton and stay there. And now he's the number 1 in the team, and the team seem to be backing him. So that's
the last driver to leave a team and then make another team his number 1 was Fernando Alonso. From memory, 2007, he lost that team to Lewis Hamilton over the course of the year and then said, I'm off. Went to Renault, went to Ferrari, and was the number 1 in pretty much every team he's been in, except for his McLaren days with Jenson Button. So it's very rare you'll see somebody lose a team, become the number 2 driver. Now, that's something that's media created.
Happened to Vettel at Ferrari.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? And this is the thing that Red Bull have to decide. Let's promote Isaac Hadjar into our Red Bull seat, which I don't understand. All of a sudden, Yuki Tsunoda's praised as some amazing driver, and then 2 races into his Red Bull career, he's now the worst driver in the world. That makes no sense to me. So why, if you're Isaac Hadjar, would you want to move to Red Bull? I would sit there and say, hey, prove to me that car is not tainted, that car is going to be equal to Verstappen, and then I'll move to that team. I would stick in the second Red Bull seat. I know I'm switched topics there for a second, but I'm trying to prove a point here with Piastri as well is, he's got an equal car. And I think if he begins next year and the car's still good, I would ride it out with McLaren. You have to ride out 2026. If the rule changes come in and McLaren's back of the grid, and by the end of the year, they're still 6th quickest car, then you go, okay, I'm looking elsewhere. But if they develop that car towards the end of the year and you go, okay, I might not have a shot at the title next year. I might not be quicker than Norris next year, but maybe in 2027, the car will be good again. I think you should keep riding it out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, Gunther Steiner's entitled to his opinion, and he's that's fine. But no, you've got to go beat Norris. Yeah, you're in a top team. No one gets to be in a top team that early. It hardly ever happens. Happened to Lewis Hamilton in 2007. Right, you've got the world champion against you. You've got to go and beat that world champion and prove it. You've got to go and beat Lando Norris. That's it. That was your thing. You came in, you've had 3 years. And when people say it's only his 3rd year, honestly, I'm like, oh, honey, no. He's had 3 years to match Lando Norris. That is enough time at the top level of sport. You get there by then, or you're out. Do you think you get 3 years up front for Man City not scoring? No, you wouldn't get close to it. In Cristina's sport, in ice hockey, do you think you get 3 years as an enforcer without knocking people's teeth out? No. If you started hugging the opposition guys every time the gloves came off for a fight, you'd be gone. 3 years is forever in professional sport. It's crazy that people are doing this 3 years thing.
To be fair, hockey players do hug when the gloves come off.
Do they?
They
To
do.
keep other players from getting involved in the fight. So it's
Do
actually
they?
really cute. You'll have two guys wailing on each other and you'll see off to the side two others just holding on to each other so they don't get involved.
Canada's so polite. I've watched ice hockey fights where the guys go, "Hey, great fight. That was awesome. Well done." And I'm like, you guys were just throwing fists in each other's face. 4 teeth were knocked out. And it's like part of their contracts in ice hockey. Like every year as an enforcer, if you can knock out 17 teeth, you get a 20,000 grand bonus, you know? No, it's not.
I will say the movie The Goon with, did you like that? I like that with the guy who was Stifler in American Pie, The Goon.
I have not seen that.
Have you not seen it? Well, I enjoyed
No.
it as a non-hockey person. I thought that was pretty cool. They made him pretty
Is
ugly, had teeth missing.
Hey, one thing is, on this year,
Yeah.
if we ran this season over 10 times,
Yeah.
I'm interested, Spanners, what you think
Yeah.
on this. How many titles do Norris, Piastri, and Verstappen win? If
Yeah.
we roll the dice 10 more
Yeah,
times.
yeah. And that's actually the question I used to say with Rosberg and Hamilton. Like, replay 2014 10 times.
2016 or 2014?
No,
2014.
2014, because I think 2014 was Rosberg's best shot, and somehow he won 2016. So I think if you run 2014 10 times, I think Rosberg picks up a few of those. Like, it was much, much closer. Run 2015 18,000 times, and Hamilton wins 18,000 championships. But
Yeah.
but 2016 was much more in Hamilton's favor. So with Piastri, I think the title is winnable if things had continued going his way, and I think it's more down to Norris's performance. So I think in most of these seasons, if you rerun it, Norris doesn't start off that badly, and it doesn't like Piastri's reputation is taking a hit more because he got that lead. And if Norris had been on it from the start and it had been kind of close, maybe he had the lead a little bit, but Norris now is ahead, he wouldn't be getting as much crap as. And I went into this point in depth on the last episode. But yeah, he's sort of a bit of a victim of circumstance there. But let's get away from McLaren for a second. We have to remember, like with Verstappen's charge, he still has a new engine, and McLaren had a little bit of a does this get included in the cost cap moment. But the practical thing is, he now has a brand new engine. The Ferrari engines are, I think, basically falling apart. The McLaren engines have got significant mileage on them. Nobody else is going to take a new power unit now. You'd be crazy to take a new power unit now. But Verstappen does have that. He does have that in his pocket. So, he can now qualify well, and he's not going to have to start from the pit lane. He could go and win this. But to be clear, if he finishes third, he's out. If he finishes first, then obviously he's got to still keep finishing first.
Now, we saw this in 2021 with the power unit when Lewis Hamilton took on the new one. The way to think about it at home, and I thought, what's the simplest way to kind of think about this? Because it is complicated. But imagine you all start in 1,000 horsepower and it degrades by 10 per race. Some scientist, some engineer, Spanish, is literally already pulling his hair out 5 seconds into this explanation. But anyway, now Verstappen's going to have 50 more horsepower in a sense for the rest of the season at every race, every session, every lap. You know, his power unit's so much quicker. The drama with this is McLaren want to know, is it going to cost Red Bull money as part of the cost cap? The cost cap's $140 million. They took on so many new units, right, to this power unit. Like, it's at least $2 million they probably spent. That's like 1.5% of the cost cap for Red Bull. So McLaren want to know, and this is where the controversy, you mentioned about the pace Verstappen's going to have and stay in this title fight. Are Red Bull going to be able to stay in the title fight cost cap wise? Is this going to count, or is this a legitimate change for reliability reasons and other stuff? So it's something that McLaren still want clarity from the FIA, and it's a very complex. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it should count towards the cost cap? Do we think we should, if they're changing it for performance reasons, surely?
Yeah, you'd think so, but I think they'll always turn around and go, oh, what if it blew up and then it would have spilt oil on the track? No, we genuinely had no choice. And then you have to prove the internal thoughts of people. It's very, very hard to prove. Okay, so just getting away from the championship connotations, it's exciting. I'm really, really looking forward to how this race turns out, because, you know, you go, a Lando Norris victory would be normal, but they have this factor where they can't seem to get to grips with the conditions in Las Vegas. So you kind of go, well, if they're down in the pack and they can't score many points, that's good for Norris against Piastri. It's not good for Norris versus Verstappen, but Verstappen's got to go and win it. So I have no idea how we're going to be feeling Sunday morning after these results come in. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more about Vegas trackside stuff, and I do have a little bit of a news story outside of Vegas as well. So, Cristina, tell me a little bit about the marketing side of Vegas. So, this is a track that F1 own, that F1 promote, and it definitely feels like they build this up way more than other tracks. Like, this is definitely the best one. I'm gullible. I'm caught up in it. But also brands want to be associated with that kind of energy.
Absolutely. This is one of the tracks where it just is such an incredible, fun energy. I can't really describe it too well, but everyone, going out at night under the lights, being a little bit tired, a little bit cold, it just has this particular energy that gets everybody amped up for it. All of the golden twinkling lights. Vegas is just overwhelming to the senses, and brands really like to take advantage of that by doing a whole bunch of collaborations, a whole bunch of special launches. We have 4 special liveries this year, which is about on par with what we saw previous years. Do you have a favorite already, Spanners?
Williams.
Oh, the Williams have gone black, right?
Black with the branding colors for their Rovo AI program, yeah.
Oh, now I need to look it up, and we're going to talk about the Robo program. But so Williams in black is like, what? That doesn't sit right with me. They should be blue and yellow, always blue and yellow. Yeah.
Well, Red Bull did it last year. Didn't Red Bull go black last year? The Vegas Knights livery. That's what I'm calling it. Was it Red Bull or was it another team? I might be getting mixed up. But one team went full black for the Vegas race. Anyway,
I'm trying to find them now.
I think it was Red Bull. Because Red Bull, the last special thing that they did in Vegas, I thought it was 2 years ago when they had the drivers in the the Elvis suits.
That well, the other thing is, have you seen RB's? It looks like Rainbow Road from Mario Kart livery, little hologram.
Yes.
Yeah,
the chrome, the reflective almost. That one's my personal favorite. I like that it feels still true to their brand, but very much elevated and a little bit overwhelming in the same way that Vegas is.
So V-Carb have really gone all out this year with the special liveries. This is their third. Is it their third?
Yes.
So they had Miami, where they had
in the pink,
and that was amazing. They had in fact, on the YouTube, if you look at mine here, they had Silverstone with a Slawn and with the shirt there. And I think that's an underrated one because they complemented the existing livery, but they were trying to sort of do something outside of it and bring in a different demographic. And now they've got this one, which is just like a rainbow. What are they going for here?
I think it's in partnership with either Visa or Cash App. Is what I think it is. Like it's to very much be similar to. No, they also had an Austin.
Ah, right, yes.
They had the almost camo orange pattern on it.
So here's my concern, right? And I think you were there for this conversation, Cristina, is we were in a bar with NASCAR owner, Steve Laletta, and carrying on my tradition of saying dumb stuff in front of important people. I said, like, the brand identity of F1 cars and their liveries is like such a big thing. You look for the red Ferrari, and then you get to NASCAR, and every time I try and follow NASCAR, I'm like, where's Bubba? Where's Bubba Wallace? Where's Tyler? Where's Tyler Riddick? And I don't know which car it is, unless it's the McDonald's symbol, or for Tyler, unless it's the Monster Energy. I don't know that. I can't find them. I said, you need to have like a broad color scheme throughout the thing. And he just deadpan just goes, all right, you're going to find me a brand that wants to fund 30 whole NASCAR races for liveries. And you go, yeah. No, I realize immediately I've said a dumb thing. And then recently I've been hanging out with guys who do these brand deals for F1 teams. And, it is the brand that goes to the team and says, okay, as part of our partnership with you, we would like the livery for this race and we would like to do this thing. Here's our idea. We're going to bring these content creators in. They're going to tweet and Instagram about all the things we do, and that grows our brand. So, you look at a special livery like McLaren in Monaco a few years back, and they whipped the media pen they whipped them up into a frenzy. You're not going to believe the amazing thing that McLaren were doing. and it was a branded livery with golf. It was the blue, the light blue, and the orange. So all these things are driven by brands, and it makes complete sense for the team to do them. But I think VCarb is maybe a little bit of the tide is changing here. Are we going to get to a point where F1 is like NASCAR and the livery every single race is dictated by who's going to stump up the funds? It's a model that works very, very well for NASCAR. In fact, it's the only model that can work for NASCAR. Will F1 end up going down that same path?
I doubt it, at least not to the same extent, just because F1 seems to be able to attract bigger sponsors. So yes, you'll have the title sponsor that'll be able to say, in the case of Williams, Atlassian were the sponsor for the livery, in Austin, and they were again the sponsor for this livery in Vegas.
Right, so there's a theme running through it, at least.
Exactly, and same with VCarb. The majority of their special liveries are just VCarb special liveries, like the pink one, or partners with their titles, which is Visa and Cash App.
Wait a minute, didn't Atlassian send you to a race recently?
They did for Austin.
Right, your opinion doesn't count. Your opinion doesn't count at all.
To be fair, that's not my opinion. That was me stating fact that they were the ones that were,
I hear your concern, Spanners,
livery.
but the Atlassian one is brilliant, and it runs through their theme, Atlassian. And then, by the way, like if you want whatever Atlassian provides, they are the best at providing it. What does Atlassian do?
They are essentially a teamwork system.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's all of the programs that work together to make it so many people can communicate all together.
When you think Formula One liveries too, you think like every team has the identity. Like straight away you think Ferrari red.
Yeah.
It's not even a question.
Yeah.
You think McLaren, you think
silver,
Chrome. No,
silver,
just
red.
kidding. It's
silver,
papaya
red.
now.
No, silver and red. Silver and red. Chrome,
Silver and red.
that makes you seem so young. You're such a little baby. No, McLaren is white and red. Won't hear it.
Yeah.
Won't hear anything
Marlboro.
else.
Yes.
Yeah, Marlboro.
Are we allowed to say Marlboro? Did I just get in trouble? Are we allowed to
you
tobacco
just-
advertise on a podcast? Probably not.
Remember, kids, smoking may make you look cool.
Yeah. No, mission winnow, really, mission winnow. That's what we're talking about now. That's. I think Formula One has this identity with the colors and the liveries that you don't want to take away. And the funniest part about the Vegas change in liveries is, do you like how Alpine go, hey, we're changing our livery, and it's like, wait, you're going back to the same colors, pink, that you've had for the last 3-4 years? That's not a livery change. That's a homecoming.
No, that's what BWT paid for. This amount of races. In fact, Alpine's a great example of that, with the different color schemes, sometimes pink, sometimes blue. I've just thank you, Hayden, in the chat. You've just highlighted it, and I'm looking at the Williams one. Okay, that looks really cool. That is saved by the blue trim. That blue trim, like an almost electric blue trim. That looks pretty cool. That's nice. And the VCarb one is brilliant as well. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that.
And have you seen Lewis Hamilton's new helmet? My goodness, for the Vegas weekend, it's like glittery and it's silver,
ball.
very Vegas special. Now we know we love seeing Lewis in yellow. It's been the color of his helmet for majority of his career, not entirely, but that's another thing. When I think Lewis Hamilton, I think his helmet, I think yellow.
Oh yeah,
Fernando Alonso's had the same helmet most of his career. I know it. You can identify people with colors and liveries,
especially in a open cockpit thing. And yeah, this has bugged me for a while. So I grew up in the 90s, and you had like the Damon Hill with the 6 white bars, and you just know that's Damon Hill. You associate him with that brand, and you have David Coulthard with the Scottish flag with the St Andrew's cross on his helmet, and you could just pick drivers out from a mile away, and you get that less now. So yeah, you have Lewis Hamilton in his yellow. Even he moved away from that a little bit. The purple helmet that he had at Mercedes though is also iconic in its own way. But now the drivers, I would say, less recognizable by their helmets. I think the Lando Doodle helmet is almost starting to carve its way into kind of F1 brains.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Oh, speaking of McLaren driver helmets, sorry, Christina, I know because you're a performing arts nerd. Have Lando and Oscar teamed up to do the Wicked? Like one of them is like one of the color schemes, and the other one is
the pink and the orange.
The pink and the orange.
They haven't, but it's already been edited. Yes, for it to be Wicked for Good, and you have the pink and the green. Yeah, someone's already put that together and edited it.
Wow. And so the whole point of this topic though was to talk about the activations there. We got my daughter's opinion before we went on the stream. So is it Hello Kitty heavily involved in this as well?
Yes, Hello Kitty and F1 Academy they have a
Oh,
grandstand, they have a whole bunch of merch. It is very pink, it is very purple. Um, if you're sensing some apprehension in my tone, I've never understood the appeal of Hello Kitty because
right.
to me it is just a generic cartoon cat with very little personality. I don't get it, but many people are very excited about it.
My daughter described it as adult women trying too hard, is what she said. But also, if you've got like F1 Academy teaming up with Hello Kitty, it's giving Sky Sports Halo in a way. Yeah.
Yes. To me, it is a little bit of I get wanting to appeal to a younger generation and kids and encouraging them to look up to women and whatnot. But the part where it sort of loses me is that Hello Kitty doesn't really have a strong messaging of any kind. And does a collaboration necessarily need to have that? No, but I would have preferred them to partner with a brand that seemingly aligns on values more with F1 Academy, especially for their first partnership. Like I already said, Hello
Oh,
Kitty,
is it the first one?
it is, yeah.
Oh, right.
It,
Yeah.
it's the first one. And, everything I know about Hello Kitty is just that it's a cartoon and not that it has a strong
Is it?
narrative or sense or
I
anything
have
like
no
that.
idea. I thought it was dolls. I thought it was dolls. I
I,
didn't
I
really.
always
They
walk
make plush
past the
toys.
stores. Yeah, I always thought it was like toys and just pencil cases. Or am I thinking of a different shop here? I have no idea.
Maybe, but
That's as
the
good as
fact
I
that it
know.
is like the fact that so many people, the most you can say about Hello Kitty is that it is a cute cat. I don't love that, especially when you look at brands like Barbie, who, yes, absolute behemoth in a very different way, but you partner with someone like Barbie, whose tagline is "You can be and like she can be anything she
Oh,
wants
I
to
see.
be."
Yeah.
You're looking at it going, I wish that they had picked a brand that was still very firmly, you know, for the female demographic, but that also just had a story behind it or any sort of messaging as opposed to just, hey, look at this cute cat that we have put in a race car.
Girls like cute things. Let's have this cute cat do this thing. I
Yeah.
really thought there for a second you were going to go, they really need to partner with brands that understand women, like Atlassian, for teamwork. I thought I really thought you were going to go down that route. And finally, I think this is you as well, Christina, the AI racing that just happened, that was in partnership with, that's an Atlassian thing, is it? Or they were partnering that as well?
No,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
just A2RL, I think it is.
Okay.
Uh, it's an autonomous single-seater racing series. So it is just the cars driving themselves with AI. And it's in its, what, third year, I think, of running, second or third. And it has made progress. You do have to say that. Last year, it was abysmal trying to watch it because the cars were moving
Yes.
so
And they
apprehensively.
crashed on the straights and stuff as well. I saw that, yeah.
E- Exactly. And so it's really cool to see the progress that that technology is having. I do wish that it's not fun to watch them race, is kind of the thing, because
No.
they don't have people in it. There's not that human element.
Wasn't there? I thought Grosjean was on track with them. No?
I
Kvyat.
thought Kvyat
Oh,
as well.
Kvyat was on track
Yeah,
with them. Was he?
Grosjean and Kvyat.
it's
What?
Kvyat, yeah.
I love how you thought it was. Why did you think it was Romain Grosjean for a
Don't
sec?
know.
You just associate those two with the
Yeah.
same level of career?
Just who can we throw in against the robots in this new, like this prelude to the
Oh.
war against robots? Who should we send in? Oh, Grosjean.
Well, Kvyat lost. I'm pretty sure. Did Kvyat get outpaced? That's as much as I saw in this race. Am I wrong here?
think
He
they-
did a one-on-one lap with someone.
I
Yeah, he
thought
did a one-on-one lap, and we saw the pace at which the AI improved and caught up to him. So Kvyat
Yeah.
had to start pushing harder.
they were celebrating that it was close, that the AI had kind of got
Oh.
close. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people going there, what's the point? If there's no human element, what's the point in watching it? And my answer to that will be, can I bet on it? If I can,
Is this a sponsor?
Yeah, if
Is
I
this a new sponsor coming to Mr. Apex?
then you should go to Derek's Gambling Emporium. Like
Yeah.
we have no safety limits or any betting restrictions whatsoever. Bet on
Well, we've had
robot
one of
AI.
those.
Yeah, so no, but it's what would the entertainment be to watch that unless they were racing against humans? I don't know.
It's a really weird one because on the one hand, you know that this is technology that's going to be incredibly applicable. I got to ride in my first autonomous car when I was in
Oh,
Austin.
really? What was that
It
like?
was it was both weird and chill at the same time.
Is it
They did have
better
a
than
screen.
being driven by me and or trumpets?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Like
No hesitation. Okay, that was real quick.
The thing is,
it would have been respectful to go,
no. The thing with it being a machine is that it is much more predictable. I know when I get into any of those vehicles, it's going to be going through sort of the same speed
Yeah,
of
it will be
approaching a
same,
turn and thought, in quotation process. Whereas with people, with your Uber drivers, you could get someone that's fantastic and you could get someone that's going to, come close to running red lights every other time they reach an intersection. So that predictability is nice. It's nice you have a
hard
screen
to
in the back
adapt
seat.
to a new country. You drive on the wrong side of the road. Plus, as well, your robot isn't having an argument with their longtime friend about like the 1987 Grand Prix and the tire wear around that.
Yeah, you just get to be alone in a car. And they do have a screen in the back seat where you can actually see everything that the car is detecting. So you see like the little outlines of, oh, I know a car's there, they're there. And you're going, okay, that is at least mildly comforting. But yeah, it was strange, but okay at the same time. And you're going, great, A2RL is contributing to the development of that technology.
Yeah.
But also, watching this isn't particularly interesting. So slight repackage probably needs to happen of how they're showing this tech off to people, but it's cool.
Can I go back to on driverless racing in general? And this is something I really focus on when I do like my news packages, right? Over here, because I work as a news reporter.
Because as a TV guy, it's something I
as a
work on.
TV guy. Yeah, so whenever I put those stories together, I try to use as many shots as possible with the drivers' faces, not as cars or helmets, unless it's good action or a great shot, because I'm trying to give some sort of personalization for the viewer at home to watch and go, these are real people. It's something that's really beautiful about the sport of basketball. I'm a big basketball. I used to play, coach, big fan of it. And the best part about it is they're not wearing helmets. It's not like Gridiron where you're like, these guys are wearing helmets. Like, who is this person? Is this a real person? Is that a driverless? Is that a robot football player? Like, is it a driverless car? Like, no, it's a real person. So that's the beautiful side about Formula One, is that there's people, there's beef, there's drama, there's human elements to it. And I think that's what draws me to Formula One the most is I love the racing, I love the tech, I love all of that. But what makes it so much better is these are humans behind this, and it makes it so much more enjoyable to watch.
It's the flaws, isn't it? Like, you've got a set 100% that you could get to, and humans enter that, and depending on how often they can hit their own 100% within the spectrum of the real 100%. So even if Verstappen was only 95% as good as you can be as an F1 driver, he hits that 95% way more often than other drivers. And that would give him that advantage. 66% of the time, he wins every time. Las Vegas Grand Prix coming up. I'm excited because I am now, at this point of the season, I'm more excited about the result than what kind of race it will be. It could be a procession with an interesting result and outcome that changes the table. And I think I will be just as satisfied as I will be with 1,000 overtakes. So very much looking forward to this. We've got Jono, who's going to be with us. Jono, what time is the race for you?
It is a beautiful 3 p.m. race, something around that in the afternoon. I won't be on 4 hours sleep like I am now, like about to throw up.
And about to go to work as well and be on TV.
Yeah, for the next 12 hours of work coming up. Hey, can I also just mention before we go, I've got a TikTok and I'm about, like 3 million followers less than Cristina at the moment. But any extra follower at the moment would be appreciated because it's something that I'm trying to do to help out myself and work. And I really like getting my thoughts about Formula One across.
I would love to guarantee that that link will be in the show notes, but Matt normally does it. So keep nudging me and send me the link, actually, because I have to do it by myself. And I'm like Mr. Burns when he has to operate his own telephone or whatever when Smithers goes away. I'm like, oh, Matt's not here. Spanners and Jono and Cristina say stuff about F1 cars. But yeah, also I would really love a link to just some of your work so that people can see what you do day to day. But go and follow Jono. Don't even bother reading out your handle, Jono, because it's terrible. But we will do a link so you can just click it. Cristina, what things do we need to look out for you? Obviously, your constant promos for Atlassian aside. Your TikToks, your Instagram, your Twitter, where can people find you?
Pretty much everywhere that you just mentioned.
Oh.
Instagram, TikTok. I am over on Twitch and do live watch-alongs.
I keep meaning to catch those. I've caught your TikTok lives, but what's your balance between TikTok lives and Twitches? Are you mostly on Twitch or?
Well, for watch-alongs, it will always be on Twitch, and TikTok is live typically in the evening after the bullet goes live.
I didn't know you did watch-alongs during the race. So you're directly competing with Stuffy?
Yes.
Who do you want to hang out with?
Ooh.
Stuffy from Essex or Cristina from Vancouver? It's a fight. It's a battle. I will say I think Stuffy's winning at the moment, but we will put
just a bit.
Send me a link to your Twitch stream and your Twitch channel, and we'll put that in there. The important thing is Cristina spells her own name wrong, so she spells it without the H, so CR. Yeah.
Well, I was going to add quickly, is this funny how our panel, I just realized it's two of the most expensive housing markets in the world that you decided to bring on. It's like you couldn't have brought two more miserable and less financially well-off people, unfortunately. But anyway.
And you're both like 29, 30 as well at that point where you're like, oh, I need to sort my future out. Oh, I can't.
We need a house. Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
Yeah, because all the old people are hoarding your houses that you want to move into. Okay, good. I didn't realize this was going to turn into politics today, but it kind of has. But go and follow Jono. He's great. Follow Cristina. She is fantastic. Follow Spanners. Look, I am the best one still, even with these young dynamic guys. Like, they're on TV and doing, like, exciting things out with sponsors. But I might be on... It depends on your definition of TV, but I might be on TV next year, by the way. Look out for that. But follow me. I would love you to follow me on Instagram, Missed Apex on TikTok. All the links in the show notes below. Every single link we put in there, click it and follow it, especially our Patreon. That is what keeps the lights on. Patreon.com/Missed Apex, $5 a month. Be part of the gang. All the cool kids are here, and that's what lets us do as much Missed Apex as we want, especially over the winter. Until we see you next, work hard, be kind, and have fun. That's an order, and this is Missed Apex Podcast. Jono's about to go and have a hot dog for breakfast, shrimp barbie for breakfast. Cristina's about to have some poutine, which is honestly, it's just cheesy chips. She made a massive deal out of it, and it's just cheesy chips. Oh, Spanners, you got to try this poutine, And it was honestly just chips with some cheese on it. It's crazy.